How's it going, everybody, and welcome back. Today is, I think, part 2 of the old boat rebuild or repair. Repair is what it basically is. If you missed the first one, go check it out. We replaced the whole transom in the boat, me and Rob did. So when we did that, we found out that the gimbal bearing in the outdrive was also bad. So, and some of the bellows, some of the big sealed boots were also shot in it. So we're going to rebuild that today, throw it back in the boat, and hopefully by the end of the week we'll be back out on the water. Well, if you missed the last video, this is basically what we did. We built an entire new transom, cut it and installed it in the boat. The engine had to come out, outdrive, seats, engine cover, the whole 9 yards. And this is what we're going to be working on today, is the outdrive. There's some other parts there. There's the engine. I got a whole bunch of new parts for it. You can see in here that it's pretty much wasted. That's because, and it's seized into place too, and that's because these bellows here, these boots, are called bellows. These are supposed to separate the water from the grease and different other things. So this is exhaust, and this is your gimbal bearing bellows. But there are a bunch of holes in these bellows here, which allowed water to leak in. There's a bunch of other holes in it too. But it allowed water to leak into this gimbal bearing housing and corrode and ruin the gimbal bearing. This is the gimbal. Basically is like a double cardan joint that you'd see on like a Jeep drive shaft or something like that. And then that goes to the rest of the outdrive. So there is a special tool that you can use to pull this out, because once they get seized in, it's a real mother to get these out. But you know, I would have to put the whole unit back together, and I don't want to buy the tool. I already bought an alignment tool, which is right over there, because it has to be aligned. So we're going to try to use the slide hammer and my bearing puller and hope we can get it out that way. Also, we have to replace this. These are the wires. You can see how corroded they are. These are the trim tab pucks, so they mount on each side here, and essentially they're sensors that kind of get in, and they're like potentiometers, and as you like change the position of the outdrive, it'll read on your gauge and show you where your drive is at. So it's your trim, I don't know, allows you to look at the trim on your dash. So basically that's about it. This is a shift cable, so we've got to get that out. I got a bunch of new parts. This is the bearing. So this is the one that we're trying to get out today. New bellows, new water lines, gaskets, the whole deal. So there's the bellows. That's what we want right there. A bunch of new stainless steel clamps. Yeah, and then these are the brand new bellows for everything. So that's the plan. Try to put this thing in, but first we got to get the bearing out. Well, we're gonna have to try to heat it up, because she's not gonna want to come out. I have to clean my tip a little bit too. All right, we gotta try not to bust everything, but it's this outside edge. You know, it's dissimilar metal on top of everything else. It's aluminum. It's an aluminum drive, and then it's a steel bearing. So almost there. There we go. Smells amazing. Alright, looks like there's a big old space. Oh, this is the seal. So this is the new seal that I got. So it went on like that, so it goes in like that. Outside flat end. And then here's the gimbal bearing right there. This is some gross stuff, bro. I mean, it doesn't look too awful bad in there, thankfully. Boy, that outside bearing edge really bites in. It's left depressions inside the metal there. All those little ridges. But overall, I think it looks pretty good. We'll just have to clean all this stuff up. Here is the grease port for the bearing right there. You can see the casting comes straight out. Yep, there's a grease fitting right there. It's black. It's got a cap on it, but that is the grease fitting. Goes straight through, so you can follow the casting straight in there. So now whenever we install the bearing, we have to align that hole there with that. So that has to go in like meow. Yeah, so this is this. It actually would go in this way, I do believe. Yeah, this way. So those cuts are on the inside. And then this right here is the alignment tool. Comes in a couple pieces. It splits here and unscrews. And that aligns, it's a bearing installer and an alignment tool. But the outdrive and everything all has to be on the engine before we can use that, I'm pretty sure. So I'm going to go ahead and start working on this. Just getting those screws out. Once again, I can't really get this thing out without potentially breaking it, so I'm not going to try. I mean, I already did try, but I'll see what I can do up in here. These are the new pucks. So you can see they grab there and it turns. So those things spin, sends probably a signal down these wires to, oh wow, look at that. This is the tool. I use just a regular socket, an Allen socket, but that is the tool that you need to remove the pins on the outside. And the pins look like, here they are, right here. These are the pins, or the bolts rather, that go in the side of the outdrive that allow it to pivot right in here. So they come through into the gimbal. I guess that's the gimbal housing, I guess, and then that's the friggin' whatever it is. But anyhow, those things come in through there. And then those pucks have that tooth deal. And those index into here. But you can't really see it. But it has those style teeth on it. 16 point something or other. But anyway, that's the way it works. And yeah. Yep. So here we go. Alright, it's not easy, but if you use a 7/16 wrench, get in there just right. You have to clip off the leads. You get in there just right, you can get these bolts out. Now there is a casting right next to it, or part of the casting, so you can't put a socket on it really very easily, not this way. And it's going to be tricky for me to get all this stuff back in. If your pin isn't completely rusted in there like mine, this would probably go a lot easier. There we are. So, got that. Here we are. Got this little plate. Okay, got cut out on it. And there we have it. So, alright, what it looks like they've done is just filled this straight up full of RTV and encapsulated the wires. So that's what it looks like to me. It's just packed, squirted it in there, and that created the seal like a plug. I believe I have some stuff I can do that with. If not, I'll just go up to the store. Alright, here are the new trim senders. The little sensors that go in here. It's got like little bullet style connectors on the end. Even says port and starboard. Port's left, starboard is right. I did buy some of this Mega Gray high vibration gasket maker, which just turns into like regular rubber. It's, just, what do you call it? RTV. Apparently, that's it. Not the best fit in the world. kind of awkward and weird, especially with this, because this doesn't have any bevel on it, so I don't even know what the deal is with that. Well, dagnabbit. I don't know how that's supposed to work right now. Maybe I'll have to cut those little wedges off of those wires and just glue it in like it was. I don't know. I think I will have to just cut these off, because if you can see right there, just the molding on them, it's hot garbage right there, so you'd have to crush it just to get it in there. So regardless, you'd have to fill it up with RTV just to make these work. So I don't know if this is all vulcanized right on there or if it'll come out pretty easy, but we'll have to cut them off anyway. Well, I'm glad that I took these things apart, because I don't know if you can see it. Look at that. That was inside that thing, just a big chunk missing. And then this one wasn't covered by that at all. See the bare copper poking out right there? Yeah, that's just a split in the insulation. And that was before or just after that gasket that they tried to put on. So this wouldn't have lasted a month in the water. And then I would have had to replace all these pucks again. Of course, Rob needed to use the tire machine, so he came by.
Yeah.
I guess we'll just have to work on the boat too. Yeah, if he has time after the tire. Look what he showed up in. Look at this guy. He's always showing up in fancy cars. Dadgum Corvette owner. Shoo-wee. How nice it looks. His daughter broke the little trim piece off the side. Ain't no big deal. 5.7 tune port. Heck yeah. Alright everybody, we're going to try to put the seal in and the bearing. Alright. This thing weighs so much. It's just, you could just work out with this all day. Mm-hmm. Alright, so am I pretty straight? Yeah. Feels like it.
Maybe a little bit up. Yeah, there you go. Everything should fall off by the time I'm done.
We got a lot more of that hole exposed now here.
Yeah.
All right, bearing time.
Bearing time.
I've marked with a Sharpie the hole here, and the hole is marked right there. I don't know if you can see it, but that's where the oil, or the grease rather, gets put in. This stuff's pretty good. Mm-hmm. All right. Looks like it's already crooked.
Mm-hmm. Try to squeeze this in a little bit while you tap it on too. Yeah, kind of push it away from you a little bit. There you go. Okay, hold on. Okay, a little more straight on. Wow. Yeah, I think that's going to do it.
Ready?
Yep.
That feels like it.
Easy peasy.
Lemon squeezy.
Oh, that's going to be mint.
Perfect.
Glad I sold you this junk. So now you're going to be
Is
so
it crooked
proud of
though?
it. No.
This type of stuff that Rob sells me.
Yeah.
Hole. We'll go over here and look. Oh, a hole. I wouldn't have even needed this if my buddy wouldn't have sold me a piece of crap.
I know, but what would you do for content? You know?
I worked on the other project.
No. But you've never had a boat project before.
That's true.
You should be thanking me for this, actually.
Oh, yeah. Everybody thank Rob.
Yeah, I think I need a little
selling
card.
me garbage.
Give me the old card in the mail.
What, a gift card?
Yeah, just a thank you card.
Oh.
That's all I need. I don't need gifts.
But you would like them. And you would take them.
No.
The old
No,
scalawag.
No, I'm done.
All right, so this is where the bellows goes.
Was it dry?
Yeah, it's tacky.
Tacky.
Red and tacky. Oof. Well, I'd say that's tacky. Still making the brush stick to it. So that tube is offset.
Yeah.
Neil Young has a song called Piece of Crap.
Oh yeah?
It's all about him buying stuff and it's garbage. This is the water line. I have a reasonably sized screwdriver for installing water lines. This has to go through the case, gets sealed up with silicone, and gets wrapped around inside that.
That's fine. I mean, look on the inside. Smoother than glass in there. Beautiful. Not a crack in it.
See what I have to deal with? I told you. This guy's a cheater. I'm going to put you guys on pause until we can do this. I know you can't see because of the light and everything. I have no other lights. All we're doing is cleaning up this outside flange so that we can glue it. So this is the exhaust bellows and this is the gimbal bearing bellows. And you can see all of the junk that's coming off down in there. We just add this glue, which is Quicksilver Marine Products. I guess this is a mercruiser brand. Mercury Marine right there. So anyway, we're just going to slather that on with my little brush that I just threw on the floor. Oh, right there. Okay. And then repeat the same thing that we did with those bellows. Is shove them on the best that we can. Cross our fingers that it doesn't leak and we don't sink. All right, everybody. Me and Rob fought with this stupid outdrive. How long? 2.5 hours?
A couple hours at least.
It was a long time. I'll kind of show you what the deal was. And there's a tool that we could have used, but I don't have it. Would have maybe made it easier. So he's saying no, but... All right, so essentially inside of here are these bellows, which I showed you. It's hard to see them now, but they're just like that over there. They have to be glued in. They're not super easy to do. What is this thing in here? It's this O-ring fell out. Yeah, the band clamps, the little worm gear clamps that connect those things up. Oh yeah, hang on. Goes. Well, we're not done yet because the water tube has to be pulled through right here. Yeah, we need pliers. But anyway, the band clamp or the worm gear clamp fell off and it was a big struggle and
Band clamp?
Yeah, it was a long involved process. So
Does it only come up to here?
no, it comes way out. So we gotta struggle with this water line now.
Yeah, probably.
And then come back. Now, what I would suggest you do if you're, please don't bend this up too much. If you really want to learn how to rebuild one of these outdrives, there are a ton of other videos online. That's how I kind of watched and figured out what we had to do. But realistically, you should watch an actual boat channel that has the tools and knows what they're doing. Because
Everybody can do this stuff.
everybody can do it. You can do it too. It's just going to take you a minute. And I didn't, it seriously was over 2 hours of us fighting with it. And there's no way to see in there because there's no more room in there.
There's no magic tool.
Okay, I'll put a link. I'll show you a picture of the tool right here that there isn't a magic tool of. Whatever. But one of the main things with this is, where is it? Oh, right down here. I think I showed you guys last night. That pin right there is basically seized up and locked in there. We're trying the best that we can to get this thing done as soon as possible. If this was winter or something, I could screw around with that thing for a week or whatever, get it apart, and then these two bolts here would separate this pivot part from the gimbal housing, and we could have just taken the whole thing off. But we're just trying to jam and get this thing done, and that's basically it. So this goes on there. Then remember it's got that curve on it too. So all right, anyway, we got to get back on it. There isn't any real room, but I'll show you guys. We're about to put it on in just a little bit. We're going to attach it to the boat. So once we get all this stuff figured out, yeah. All right, so this is a big gasket. We've already siliconed it into place, but we want to. Yeah, we want to be able to make sure that it doesn't leak. Now, there's probably some type of special caulk, but this is silicone for your tub,
Yeah,
and I'm sure it'd
this
be.
is a big bathtub.
It's just this. I mean, water's
Just
water.
trying to keep the water out of the tub.
Right, water's water. And it's, you know, it's silicone, so I don't know. I'm sure that there's something somewhere that somebody's going to say I need to spend $50 on a special tube of 3M crap,
Mercruiser.
mercruiser stuff.
Mercruiser sealer.
I already bought the daggum bellows adhesive.
That's plenty.
Plenty.
That's going to be oozing out everywhere.
I know, but we can wipe it off. That's the glorious thing. Fisherman.
Fisherman, then I'll help you.
Fisherman.
Guide him in.
The whole point of the boat is go fisherman.
Yep. Fisherman. Watch your back. Oh, is it digging in?
So, we just got to get these 2 studs to go around.
Or a couple of studs.
Yep. Feed the lines. Let me jump up in there. Jump up in there. Stay in there so it won't. Oh!
Watch out.
Silicone is slippery.
Did it really get silicone on it?
Okay, so we got this. Alright, so, what do you think? Fitting in or jam us up?
Well, I mean,
Uh-oh.
what's
It's there. Can you? There it goes. Yep, that's where that goes.
I figured it, buddy. Oh, this has to be sealed.
Okay.
We can do it.
Is it?
No, it has to be sealed
There.
here.
Yeah.
There we go.
Ooh, yeah.
Excellent.
That won't leak.
Nope.
Okay. That. Slide these back, baby. Oh!
Where'd the battery plant go?
Ouch.
I don't understand. Where's the battery at?
Battery where?
The ratchet.
Oh.
5/8. No, we got it snugged up pretty decent. We're just going to clean this up the best we can. Use some mineral spirits. So one thing that'll help you out if you're using this type of silicone is mineral spirits. Cleans it up great. And I'm going to paint all of this stuff too, so once everything's working. Alright, sorry there wasn't more action today, but we fought with that outdrive basically for hours and hours and hours today. That thing, we had a hose clamp inside, like the worm gear style clamps. Basically one of these, you know, just your standard, you know, clamp. And it had opened up inside of the outdrive. So Rob was loosening up what he thought was the exhaust side, and he actually opened up the gimbal bearing boot or bellows, and that caused that clamp to pop open in there. And the only thing that we could have done to fix it a different way would be to disassemble the entire outdrive again, and we had all of those bellows glued in. So we didn't really want to do that, so we struggled with that for a little while, but we finally got everything all set. So that was the majority of the day today, and I had to fix a tire for him or whatever. Now I'm going to pick away at a lot of the wiring. So, you know, Rob didn't really need to be here for that, so he took off, and I'll show you what's happening with the wiring. We've got the engine harness down here, which is pretty nice. You know, it just connects up, and there you go. Your engine harness is good to go. I don't know why this thing won't focus right today. But anyhow, that's all we need for that. I don't know what's going on here. We've got some wire nuts all over the place down here, which I really need to get rid of. The guy that owned this before did a terrible job with these, just butt connectors. So I do want to clean a lot of this stuff up, which is going to take a lot of time. This is the speedometer hose there, which goes down in the bottom. Not such a big deal. Here are the trim sender wires. That all has to be, did we caulk that? No, we didn't. The water line here has to be pulled out. That's going to kind of take some time because it's kind of finicky in there. But I got to pull that thing out and then get that thing ready to be connected. That's the little bushing for it, that little black thing over there. Mount up all this wire. There's a bunch of stuff that I don't even know what it goes to anymore. It did catch on fire. And then we have their steering, our throttle linkage there and all that. So I just want to go through it and then sort out all of the pump. This is all the bilge pump stuff. So both of these will go up to those two ports there. So that's the bilge pumps. I don't know, again, which one works. I know that, well, I do know which one works. The one in the back here, that one definitely worked. But now I don't remember which pump it actually was. I think it was, that one went there, am I right? Maybe not, I don't remember. I think it was like that. So this one would go to this pump. So this one has to be the one that actually works. So I'll get some wire, jump onto these things and see what is what. So there's not a whole lot to see. It just looks like spaghetti right now, but we'll have to figure it all out. All right, we're looking a little bit better now, huh? Got all the pumps routed. All the wiring is loomed up better than it was before. That's still a mess over there because a lot of it is wiring and grounds for the battery. The pink and yellow wires, I don't even know what they go to yet. There's several wires over there that I don't know where they go. Some of them were burned up, so I got to figure that out. The trim switch is right there on that handle, and there's also one right there that says tilt. That's tilting the out drive up and down. That one would raise it up and down, and this one would only do up, and then you press the down button, it wouldn't do anything. So I don't know what the deal is with that, but it could have something to do with a lot of the wiring here just being destroyed. So I have to sort through that, but I do have the pumps all wired up correctly, and they're all looking pretty good. The engine harness is already ready to go. Fuel sender and everything, and the grounds for that fuel sender I think is cooked because the wire is shorted out and caught on fire. But here's the engine harness, so you can see I kind of made that a little bit nicer. Got a bundle of grounds here, so we'll just have to wait until I get them in a better location, and then I can kind of, put some zip ties on them and loom them up into a nicer bundle, kind of like what I did here. So that's still some stuff to do, but it's getting late. Been messing with this all day. So got all your throttle cables and your shift cable over there. Just have to deal with that at another time, maybe tomorrow, who knows. All right, well, I tied up these hydraulic cylinders just so they wouldn't be, on the floor. Shockingly, I've lost some parts in this mess. Most importantly, the pin that goes in the steering arm there. So I don't know where that is, but I did connect up the grounds. So I think we'll just try to connect up the main power and see if anything catches on fire. There is a fire extinguisher in the boat too, so in case something were to go wrong. Here we go. Got this. It only has spider webs in the front of it, so yeah, that'll hopefully work in the event of a fire. I don't think we'll have one, but you never know. Yeah, I really don't have any idea unless Rob sat that pin down somewhere. I don't see it anywhere, and I've been looking for 3 days. Where does this go? All right, I guess they don't go anywhere, really. Let's see what happens. So we've got power going through the main unit, through the fuse, into all the rest of everything. So, should work. Alright, so now we'll turn on the main power. There should be a beep. Strange. It's like no power anywhere. The switch is set to both. Oh, we do have power up on the lights. No power at the pump. Alright, there we go. See, this switch is bad, the one on the back. None of these work. I'll have to fish around through these wires and figure out what's what at some point. If this trim works, that's all that matters. So let's see what happens. I'm sure there's air in the lines because there was a lot of air in the lines. Is that all the way in? It's all the way out. All right. That should be all the way in. Well, I need the bilge pumps to work. Okay, well, it's nice that they're all the way in. I gotta figure out the bilge pumps though. So the only parts that absolutely have to work would be the trim, the bilge pumps, and the lights. You know, and obviously the engine running. Those are the only three systems that I really need. I don't really need a stereo, although that would be nice. I just need nav lights, this trim, engine running, lights. And essentially, that's about it. So we've got one thing down. None of the bilge pumps are working. So that's not good. But we'll go inside and poke around and see what's going on. Alright, I've been messing with this wiring for quite a while and I made no progress on it. So it must be that engine wiring has to be connected in order to create some type of a circuit or loop to make this stuff work. Because it doesn't make any sense why this stuff won't work now. So I did start kind of breaking apart all the zip tied wire loom that I made, and it's a big mess again, but I did, you know, run each pair of wires for each pump and the switch on its own so I don't get them, you know, messed up or where I can't see them once the engine is in place, you know, and I start, maybe I'd get a power from one and a ground from another. So I ran all those individually. Now I can test the pumps out. I'll probably add power to them tomorrow. If they don't work, I'll just narrow down which ones are what. But I'm going to wait until we got the engine plugged into it. But until then, I started working on this this back deck seat or whatever you call this pad, and you can see just the state of it is unreal, man. It's so bad. This is the rear part of the deck. I need to get some outdoor carpet for it because you can see this stuff is pretty rancid, freaking manky. So yeah, that's what's underneath of it. It's super gross. Anyway, we're gonna call it quits on this for tonight, and I'm just gonna start tearing this thing apart and kind of trying to figure out, I don't know, what to do with this. I can't even make a pattern out of this because it's so ruined. But I've already been stabbed a couple of times by all of the rusted hardware, but you know, whatever. This is really rough. What I thought was, you know, this has got what, 2x4s or something it's made out of? Yeah. It's so heavy too. So like this is like made out of 2x4s, I think. Yeah, check it out. Yeah, it weighs so much because it's all full of water. My thought was just to stack up some more plywood, kind of like that, I'm not going to use marine grade. I'm just going to use what I've got around and just kind of stack it all up. And I can probably rinse out this foam here and still use the foam. Yeah, so the foam part is still usable since it's just foam. And then yeah, we'll just go from there. I'll just try to make like a base. Hey, sweetie. Meow meow. Yeah, he's a good little boy. Isn't that right, little sweetie? Yeah. He likes to come and hang out here in the shop. And I think he's cool. So, let me get this mess cleaned up. Well, Rob's working on one of his cars that he's having trouble with. So once he gets here, we'll go ahead and stick the engine in the boat, connect up the plug, and then maybe all of our wiring will come back, or the pumps will start working again. I don't know. Everything should be pretty much good to go. I still can't find this pin. I have no idea where it is. Got our water line connected, or the water thing there, good to go. Here's the carpet that I bought. You can check it out. It isn't really what I was hoping for, but you know what? I couldn't find anything else, believe it or not. I couldn't find any blues other than this kind of dark blue, and I wasn't real happy with that. It's just a little bit too dark. So I think it's basically this one, which I didn't really want. But you know what? It is what it is. It was the most reasonably priced carpet that I could get. Everything else was like $1 a foot. This was like $30 for a 4-foot roll of it. So it's 4 feet wide and it's 12 feet long. So that should be enough for us to at least get this back part covered and start working on getting the cushion ready. So I'll probably power wash this thing at some point today just to get the gross mold out of it. It's pretty nasty, but the cushion itself looks like it's in pretty decent shape overall. So we can use that. We just have to clean it all up. Shouldn't be a big deal. Making the curved part that goes around there, I don't know. How do you even do it? That way? Yeah, making that part, that's going to be the trickiest thing. So that basically your cushion lays flat and then it curves in with the other spots. Whatever. It is what it is. Come back to you in a bit. Alright, well, we should probably take this off because there is carpet underneath of it. I do have some new rivets for it. Alright. Just have to remember how this goes. These are the hooks for the back seat. The backrest part of it hooks down in there. Should be able to just pop it right back on because the holes will be there. Tell you what though, since I've got you here, how about if I lash onto the gas tank and then drop that? Then you can go and do all your stuff that you want to do. I know that this is not what you want to spend your time doing, so.
No, it's whatever it needs.
Oh, in that case,
Yeah.
it needs a floor, it needs electrical
yeah,
down.
that's right, yeah. Well, that wasn't part of the deal.
Yeah, I forgot to tell you guys about this because we were super busy, but we managed to, me and Rob, managed to isolate the bilge pumps and the stereo, the lights, I think, get the ship-to-shore radio working. What else was it? Something else. And some of these, what you call it, switches. We tried to fire the engine and it came on, so it just kicked over for just a second and we shut it right off. So we got the fuel tank in it, got that thing sealed up and put on the transom. So it made progress with that. I don't know if this sending unit is cooked or not, but you can see these screws that were used in here. They're just like all stripped out. This, whatever stainless steel that they used for these screws is the softest, junkiest crap I've ever seen in my life. I can't believe how soft it is for stainless steel. But the main thing is we have bilge pumps. So if we do take on water for some reason, I have no idea what it would be, at least we can pump it out. The lights I still have to check on. The engine runs, the radio works, which I don't really care about. Ship to shore works, which is important in case there's an emergency. I mean, we have our cell phones and stuff, but it's easy just to use the shore radio, ship to shore radio. Right now, the back, the boat was kind of shaped like that, and it sprung the back end out. That's why, you can see it's kind of straight, and it needs to go in more like that and pull it in. So these are the holes that all of the rivets were in. Like here's one here, and it would normally go in there. So all this has to be pulled over and then riveted back together. So there we go. This actually needs to be drilled out again. Yeah, you can see in there how they work and why they have to be drilled out. So we have to drill out this, and that's these two holes right here, and then we can rivet this part back in. Also, this area here, this little tab, this all needs to be pulled in and screwed against the transom in there. So that needs to be done first on this side and that side. There's not a lot of room to see. It was kind of a mother to even get in there and get those screws out. But we do have these. Unfortunately, they're just such crappy hardware that they just keep stripping out. So I'm going to do my best to get that thing all together. Once it's all, attached again the way that it was, we can go ahead and start assembling that. So I got these out. These are the waterlogged pieces. Just looks like a 2x4 of pine. And this is pressure treated by the looks of it. It's kind of got that greenish kind of tinge to it. And it makes sense because this is some of the only stuff that hasn't completely disintegrated. And yeah, so it'll go together kind of like that on the side here. Probably more like this. And then it's got all those wedged pieces there. You can see how it kind of looks like a wedge. And here is where the wedges would go on this side to take up all that slack or all that expanse and then bring it all together into the center. So I don't know, that was a lot of talking, but well, my hair's getting pretty long again. That was a lot of jibba jabba. Just wanted to let you know what I was doing. It's going to take a minute for me to figure it out because all of the wood was destroyed. I'm not very good at finding angles and all that, so it's just going to be a bunch of just, trial and error until I get it to work. Alright, well, I'm just pulling all this stuff down into place. I had to use a ratchet strap to tuck all this stuff in. So now we can at least get the rivet in here and snap it down. It should start pulling it tight. There we go. There's one. Yeah, we're only off by a little tiny bit anyway. It's not going to matter. But we've got a big rivet that has to go in there. Also, the top part with the carpet on it needs to go under here too. So I've got these extra long rivets. They're, God, what are these? 3/16 by half. There we go. Start pulling them down. Nice. I don't know why, but I like these masonry hammers. Got a good balance to them. There we have it. So you just have to keep on doing that. Got a couple of them right here. They're lining up pretty well. Nothing too extreme. Right here kind of sucks, but you know, it'll be fine. And then you can see this one goes straight on down through there. The carpet does have to go underneath, and there is enough room, so it'll be fine. And then we'll go over there, knock out that side, pull her down. Everything should be good. All right, well, I'm making progress over here. Nothing is really in place yet, but I'm working on this rear cushion that all has to be like made to fit this arch. This is just kind of laid into place right here, but I made a really sweet part for the inside, which you can see right here. So I think that looks pretty good, doesn't it? Nothing again is like in place permanently. It still needs to be maneuvered around, but whatever. It's kind of sort of in place. I do have to make the base part of the cushion. All this stuff is super waterlogged and nasty, but you can see these wedges and how it kind of goes together. And this is the base of the cushion part. So I didn't have quite enough width here, so I used these little, I don't know what they're called, little brad plates or something like that. I glued the wood and then, you know, joined them with this stuff. So now it's nice and strong, but it doesn't really matter about that because it's held in place with like 3 or 4, however many bolts you want to put in it, and then it gets, you know, bolted through, and then the bolts are glued in or whatever they used with that. The old one was so destroyed I, you know, couldn't even tell, but there's several bolts that hold this thing down. Then this thing gets bolted directly onto this, I don't know, rear deck part. But before I can actually put all of that stuff in permanently, I do want to go in here and address all the wiring. But before I do all that, I just have to finish up this here back deck part. I don't really work on boats like this much, so this is all kind of trial and error for me. So rather than making the video 28 hours long with me just cutting stuff and screwing it up, I'm just trying to knock it out and then I'll show you, because I'm really not much of a woodworker. So it's not a whole lot to see there. All right, there we go. I've got it recovered as much as I'm going to recover it. It's dirty, but I probably should have gotten new vinyl for it. But this boat was supposed to be just like a $1,500 boat to go have fun in, and it's turned into a massive project. So I did reinforce this seam with a piece of aluminum, screwed it into place. I just used the old crappy vinyl. It's really super brittle and, you know, old. It's like plastic. It doesn't have any flex, which is why the corners don't look amazing. It's kind of like a hard plastic now. Not ideal, but you know, if I find some vinyl at some point for a good price, I'll fix it. You can see I stapled it all across there with a million staples. I drilled holes for these bolts and epoxied them into place, hammered them into this wood from the other side, and glued them. So they're not going to go anywhere. And then there are holes drilled through this, which it's hard to see, but wherever I put them. There's one there, there's one there, and then the other side too, that this thing will drop right down into place, and then I'll bolted in from the other side. So we'll take another look at that cushion whenever I get it back on the boat. Again, if I can find some vinyl down the road, I'll redo it then. It's not really that hard to pull it off. I did get a bunch of the electrical done, so I'll show you what's happening with that stuff. All right, coming up in here, it doesn't look as bad as it did, but it's still kind of a mess. I labeled what I could. I ran our bilge blower right here, just kind of piped it right into here. So this one goes back, the things here, right here, goes like that. And then the other one is like kind of like a breather or whatever. It's supposed to go like this, but it doesn't really do much anyway, because this is all open. But I got all of that stuff taken care of. It's all just kind of in there, taped it up. It's just whatever. It'll be fine. They just had black tape on it before. Got all of our bilge pumps down there working. So what did I just knock off? My head stuff. Yeah, so if we go over here, we got a nav lights. Turn on this one. Also, it turns on our dash lights too. Forgot what that beep is. The beep is, I think, is the depth finder. So our nav lights are working, and then if I were to hook up this rear light here to the back where these two wires are, right there, that light will work, which you'll see. So if that's in the up position, middle is off, turn it down, we just have nav lights, and then the back one will work too, but we don't have any dash lights. So that's fine. Accessory, turns on one of our bilge pumps. So that's working. This pump right here works off the float switch. I believe this is the one. Yeah, this is the float switch one. There we go. So that float switch works with that one. So you just leave this pump on while you're out there running around, and then whatever needs to come on, it will. This red switch here is another pump, which works when the battery is on. There we go. Depth finder is on now too, right up there. Turn on the red switch. Another pump. So there we go. All of the bilge pumps work, so it shouldn't sink. I mean, with the new transom in it, we shouldn't have any leaks anyway, so why there's 3 bilge pumps in this boat, I have no idea, but there are, and they finally are all working. Before, there was only one working, so they all work now. Got the ground wire going from the fuel tank here. This is one of the wires that burn up before when we had that electrical fire that went to those lights there. These are not connected at all now, so I'll have to figure out some type of light situation. But this negative just goes nowhere. It goes up in here to the filler neck, and I think that's to like mitigate static electricity or something when you're pumping fuel. So it goes over here, then it goes over to the sender, which I don't know why. And then I've got a line going back here to all of the grounds. I know this kind of looks like a mess, but eventually I'll put in like a better fuse block or something over in this area with like a terminal bar system for the positives and negatives or something like that. But for right now, this is going to work just fine. All right, I'm going to take you guys under the dash just for a minute because there's no room under there. Let you guys see what a mess it is. So let's take an adventure into the depths of hell. All right, I don't know how well you guys can see, but this is the wiring. This goes to the ship-to-shore radio, I think. Anyway, that up there is the trim sender part. You see we got a broken wire on this one side here. Of course, like I can't see anything. There you go. Yep, of course all the wires are in my way. It's got a broken wire there. You know, I think this is the ground in the center. This is the ignition switch, which is super amazing. There's just all kinds of stuff cut and disconnected and you name it, all kinds of stuff. What is this thing doing? Oh, this is like the horn button. This is the horn motor or whatever, a little air pump I guess. I don't know how this even works. I guess we trace this back somehow. Whatever. This is the worst. It's just a total rat's nest. I don't even know where some of this stuff goes. There's just disconnected wires everywhere in here. So I have no clue what anything is. But I do think I've figured out that this is a job for another day. Pretty sure. I'll reconnect the depth finder. That's the mount for it. And then get the ship-to-shore radio to work. I think that's the antenna for it. This is the power for it over there. That should work just fine then. You can see how it's built. Just whatever this perforated metal is that you can buy at like Tractor Supply. Not stainless steel bolts, of course, and just clamped together. It's classy. You know, just got some dry rot in here. It's not good. It's raining outside, so you're gonna hear that in the background. So, I forgot we gotta paint this rear transom, or the transom part. I did sand it all down because there was some corrosion on it. Just kind of briefly taped it up and I got some white paint. So I just went up and bought some of this Krylon Fusion. I don't know if it's any good or not, but whatever. Says it'll stick to anything. Now I did go over this with a DA real quick. Just hit it, wiped it down with wax and grease remover here. Just roughly taped it off. I'm just gonna try to get around there, and if anything gets on the out drive, then I'll wipe it down. But I think this will be good enough for what we're gonna do. So let me shake up some of this paint. We'll paint it up. Then I can put the swim deck on and whatever afterwards. I gotta clean this place up today while this paint is drying because I can't walk out here anymore. I'm not gonna get too crazy with it. Put on my respirator and we'll spray it down. I was always told that you have to have etching primer to use on aluminum. Has like an acid in it that like eats into the aluminum and makes it stick. But I don't know. I've had pretty good luck with just using regular old paint on aluminum. Besides, if it goes bad, we'll sand it off and paint it again. That stuff's like water. I'll just let it tack up, I guess. Funny story. I used up that other can, got garbage coverage out of it because it was so thin. Same exact can of stuff, gloss white. This one has way better coverage. You can even feel it in the nozzle. It just feels different. As long as it's one color and the aluminum is somewhat protected, it's probably as far as I'm willing to go with it. Yeah, my care cup is empty. I do have to say that this place is an abomination. I need to clean it. And there we go. It's relatively clean. It's not the best, but at least I can walk around in here without falling over. I did a couple little things like mount the swim platform. I used the existing holes, so even though it looks crooked, it's not. Or it's not any more crooked than it was before. It's late. It's 11 o'clock. Tomorrow, we'll go ahead and knock out this upper platform. I don't know. We'll figure it out then. We'll go ahead and try to get the out drive on myself. No one's around. Rob's up north. I bought this green grease. It says right on it, ideal for marine, automotive, trucking, whatever. Okay, so you see the little boat on it. Whatever. But anyhow, I looked online and they said that you're not supposed to use that. You're supposed to use this stuff, which is mercury marine, whatever. So this stuff is apparently for gimbal bearings specifically and all this other crap. So I don't know. The only thing that I do know is that this is a brand new gimbal bearing and a rebuilt outdrive. So I don't want to pack this thing full of the wrong grease because it's such a pain in the butt to get this thing all apart. And then I'd have to try to clean the bearing out if, you know, that other grease didn't have the right, you know, herbs and spices in it to protect the bearing. So we're going to go ahead and use that and see what we can get into. All right, so right here is the Zerk fitting for the gimbal bearing. So we'll pop this off. Here we go. That's the one. So that's got the channel that goes right in. It goes right into there. So I guess I'll just start pumping grease in there and then we'll just see what happens, right? Oh yeah. Well, at least it means that I lined up that hole correctly. So I think that'll be okay for now. And then once it gets driven or ran, I'll go through and do it again. Give the bearing a chance to kind of, I don't know, work its way around in there. Might be able to take this alignment tool and spin it some. Yeah, it's turning it. All right, let me pump some more in there while I'm spinning it. It's definitely lubed up. All right, well, I started looking at this shaft. I never realized that it had O-rings on it before. These are a little bit flat, but they weren't leaking before. This one looks okay. I don't have any of them that are this size. I cleaned up the threads, or the splines. I'll just coat it in some of that grease there, and I think we'll be okay. Now, whether or not my destroyed back will allow me to muscle this big old dog up into place is another story. But I did safety wire the shift, like the shift fork or whatever, into place. So you get that set screw and then you have to safety wire it so it doesn't come loose. Got the O-ring in place with some grease. It's aligned. They say that when it's aligned you should be able to turn it with 2 fingers, which I can. It's a little stiff. I think it's because it's full of grease, but I think we'll be okay. Again, it's just a matter of whether or not I can haul this thing up into place. I think it's going to be a little bit low because of, you know, just the angle of everything, and I can't move this because the center shaft will come out of alignment. I don't know. We'll just have to give it a shot and see. I have a neighbor that I can maybe call for some assistance. I don't know. The thing is, though, I don't really like asking the neighbors if they want to be on camera. Some of them are real weird about it, and other ones aren't. I don't know about this guy. We'll just have to see. I'll find out, but I'm going to ask him for some help. Also, figure out how to wire up the trim sender and the trim limit switch, because he knows all about those things. So, you'll either see us put it on, or it'll be on, you know, whenever I get back. Or I'll have to struggle with it myself because he's not around. I don't know. We'll just figure it out. All right, he's at the airport. He won't be back until tomorrow, but he's going to come by and help me put the outdrive on it and figure out the trim limit and trim sender units and the wiring and all that. So we'll deal with all that tomorrow. I can still finalize some of the wiring inside the boat, get it all wrapped up and be totally done, pick away at all the little tiny detail stuff. But I did end up getting something cool for the boat. It showed up today, so let me show you what we're going to put on it. So I ordered this on Amazon. It is a bimini top for the boat. I haven't even looked at it yet, but it's like a whole canopy top with like side screens and stuff that will mount to this rail. You can see where there was one on this boat at one point, and it looks like it needs to have some new screws. But anyways, that's the track that mounts the top, you know, just a big canopy for the top of it. It's gray. It's kind of, I don't know, it might be a little bit lighter than the seats, but I think it'll be all right. So we'll deal with all of that stuff later on. Move all this stuff. I guess I can leave it there. But yeah, I'll just go ahead and clean up the boat, get all the wiring taken care of, then we're ready for the top. All right, so I started thinking about that canopy. It's got to mount up to those tracks, which I showed you, but I don't think that's going to work. I think we have to do the carpet on the gunnels first in order to make it nice. Otherwise, it's going to suck. All right, so I took the hardware off. It's just sitting down there. That's the track that it goes in. And I've started stripping everything off. You know, it's got this ratty old carpet on here. And I got everything basically off of it that I can. Here is the other side. I started cutting this down. So I kind of got this stuff sort of where I'd like it. It's a little bit more narrow down here than it is up at the front, so we're going to have to start kind of pie cutting it as we go. But I think that this is going to be the way to do it, because otherwise I'm going to put this entire system together and then have to take it all back apart in order to do this carpet anyway. So why not just do it now? Do you like it? I think that the carpet will look pretty good on there. Way better than this side anyway. And the front's all tore up and stuff. So this isn't very interesting, which is why I kind of haven't really been filming it. You just have to go through here, get as close as we can, and just cut it. Otherwise, I have to take off all of this stuff, drill out all the rivets, and it would be like $45, $50 in rivets again just to put it all back on. And I don't think it's really worth it. Oh, there goes that part. I guess I don't need this side. So the glue is like just coming off on a lot of this area here. It's all degraded and gross. It's all just aluminum underneath here, so not really that big of a deal. Might put a respirator on. This is about as exciting as it gets. Alright, well, I spread some glue down. I'm going to do my best not to ruin this carpet. And get the glue everywhere. Alright, so it does curve, so we'll just have to see if I can keep this, you know, looking decent. It'll have to be cut up to here. Alright, coming together, isn't it? Hey, and there we go. Yeah. There we go. How does it look? Cleaned it up a little bit with some mineral spirits. This edge right here, we'll go over the top of it, so I'll just let it, you know, work and glue down tonight. But I think it looks pretty good, considering what it looked like. Now down here, this is where I seamed it. I know it's not perfect, but you know what? This whole boat will be just fine. So it does curve a little bit more into here, so it'll have to have another pie cut at some point, but the glue ends here. So right about here. So it'll be fine. It'll stick down tonight, and then whatever doesn't, I'll just peel it up, and then it'll get pushed down tomorrow. But I think it looks great. Yeah, it's coming together. Definitely better than this junk. And then you can go up here and you can just see like how bad everything was. And up in here, it's just all, you know, this ratty carpet, so just falling apart. So, doesn't look perfect right now. It'll never really look perfect, but I think it looks pretty good. All right, that's it for me tonight. I know this project is taking a long time, but tomorrow maybe we can get this thing on. I don't know what time. I do have to go up and get more glue for the carpet. Just odds and ends. Anyway, see you tomorrow. Ew. See all the dust? It's so nasty. Oh. All right. We're getting into the home stretch, I think. This is outdoor carpet adhesive. I can't even remember what parts of the video I made or whatever. I riveted down some loose stuff. This thing's been through it by the looks of things. A lot of broken rivets, just a lot of stuff. So it's taken way more time than I originally thought to get this boat that was water ready, Rob, to be water ready. That's honestly, I'm just goofing with him. That's not his fault. He didn't know. Rob's one of my best friends. I consider him family, so I know that he didn't do this on purpose. But I figured, might as well take this opportunity to make it better. So that's what I'm doing. So, looking kind of good there. Here we go. And now I should have enough carpet left to do the whole front. Check it out. The bimini top has been assembled. And that was a chore in itself because the instructions were garbage and I'd never done one of these tops before. I didn't film it. Again, I'm trying to cruise through this, and that was tricky. And all the hardware on it's kind of cheap, so I was afraid it was going to break at any minute. But let me show you the top. There's really nothing too special about it. You know, it's not the best quality ever, but, you know, for the price, I don't know what else I can expect. This side I peeled the film off of it so the aluminum looks good. All the rest of it has like a film over it. You can see it there. And yeah, and I just gotta put it in place just to kind of see. Nothing is bolted down. I need to have it kind of loose because there's two ways that this stows up. You can fold all of this stuff back and it'll like stow against this rear hoop, and then you put a cover over it and it just rides like that. Or apparently you can loosen like this screw and then on both sides and slide these down, and that will allow the whole entire thing to, you know, ride back here and stow flat. But considering that the hardware is pretty cheap on it, I don't know what it'll be like to constantly have to loosen those all the time. One thing that I want to do though is take all of the back part here and the cushion, lay it up here just so I have an idea of what's going on. So that I can fold all of this stuff back flat and make sure that whenever it's all folded, it's not riding above the rear seats and it's annoying, or it's laying against the rear cushion, ruining that or whatever. So that's the next step. The one that I got does have like a zippered sunshade thing for the side, which is right here. It just looks like a mesh screen. It's not really supposed to do anything other than kind of block some sun. And it kind of looks kind of awkward and weird because it's just square, you know, sections that hang down and get strapped down. But it didn't even come with enough straps to do that. It only has the straps for the front. And basically that's it. So, I don't know. It is one of those things. You get what you pay for. But hey. But it's got a bimini top now, so that's pretty nice. It'll at least keep some rain off me or the sun off me or something like that. So let me get everything cleaned up. We'll throw it on there. Then we'll screw it down and mount it to the boat. All right, and there she is. all up on there. I don't think it looks too bad. I just had to install these cleats down here for these ties. And then, you know, it even says front on the front of it there. So, yeah, it doesn't look too bad. I think it'll be fine. So, that's pretty much all done. I really want to get this stuff all put on there, but I can't just yet. I have to wait until we get the outdrive and stuff taken care of. So, I don't really want to mess around with these side curtains right now. I'll probably never really use them anyway. So I'm just going to leave them. I'll put them in a bag up in the front of the boat anyhow. I do need to get some stuff done though. I did have to remove, where's it at? The antenna for the stereo or the radio went somewhere. Actually, it went right here, so it'll go right about there. The other side, I got to put all the stuff on it still. So it's going to take a while. And then, you know, the carpet and everything still has to be done up in the front. It's getting dark though, you know. This stuff just takes a long time. That's why I'm not filming it. But I do think it really looks good. I want to take care of these though. I mean, it just bothers me. I don't know why. But anyhow, I think that the bimini top really helps out. Little sweetie bear is out here holding down the fort, watching me struggle. So all the carpet, of course, I think I showed you before, is done. And I put in a couple more rivets here and there. I think it looks great. We've got our nav lights all on. All of our little caps are on. And I cleaned her up. If you notice, I put a little bit of carpet around the engine house there. Cleaned the windows. They're crystal clear now. I think that the carpet over there looks pretty nice. Kind of, you know, it's not bare plywood like it was. I got the bimini top just kind of stowed up there. But I think to get it out of the shop, I need to actually lay it down. Our lights are working. So we come over here, turn our nav lights. We've got green starboard, red port. Our back light there is on, which I think you can see if I shut it off. Easier yet. And then if I turn it on to the top, we get our little garbage. Like none of those work. But our depth finder works now. All of our bilge pumps work. Our blower motor works. So that's pretty good. Everything is good. Our ship-to-shore radio works. Everything is good except for the radio over here. I broke this antenna trying to mount it. There's like a little insulator at the bottom and I busted that off. But I've got another one on order from Amazon and it's white. So I think it'll look even better on here than that crusty old black one. So everything should be good. And if all the testing tomorrow goes well, we're going to just take it out on the lake. Now, Rob's been gone for the holiday and all this stuff, so I kind of lost a helper for days and days and days. It's been about five or 6 days that I didn't have anybody but me out here. Not that that's really, you know, the end of the world, but it just made the project take a whole lot longer than I was anticipating. But our cushion's looking good on here. I think everything is going to be nice. It all should work. We'll find out tomorrow. Well, bad news, folks. We're pouring water in down here again from somewhere. I don't know where it is. Rob found it. There it is. Check it out. Down in there. I don't understand how that's working, how it's coming in, but it's coming in pretty quick. Our bilge hasn't shut off yet, so back home we go. All right, everybody, we're checking it out. I think we found the problem. I think that this pump was leaking there. We temporarily stopped it, I think. I don't see any more leaks, dude. Come on in and take a look. I'm taking a video for us. It's not pouring in like it was, that's for sure. Yeah, so I think that pump right there that you see in the very bottom of the hull is the issue, because we would already had 5 freaking gallons of water in here from before. What do you think, buddy?
Good.
All right, want to take it for a cruise?
Yep. Sure do.
Is it playing?
Yeah, it's already recording.
Okay, good.
And the cameras or the mic's facing towards you, so
Okay.
whatever you say.
Will be used against me? All right. Okay, here's Captain D.
All right, so we fixed it. You want to show them what we fixed?
Yeah.
We fixed it with it.
Yeah.
So we went to Meijer. We picked up some cork or wine stoppers, they call them. So look at that. For $4.99, we got 2 of them. Darren chopped off the top of it right here so we could squeeze it in a little better. And now she's leak-free. Pretty sweet. Oh. Yeah, they're not squeak-free, just leak-free. Yeah, back off a little bit. Oh, you're doing that? That's probably why. Have to tighten that belt up a little bit. Then back off your throttle a little bit. Let it catch up and... Oh, that's weird. Oh, that's really smoking. There she goes. All right. Oh yeah, she's smoking. The old alternator was working. Oh, okay. So there he is. Doesn't he look like a natural, everybody? Oh yeah, he's natural.
All right, juice her up.
Juice her up. Whoa! Woo!
Captain Rob is failing in cameraman duties.
Yeah. I'm not a cameraman, I'm a boater.
He's a boat captain. She scoots, man. This little aluminum boat gets up and rolls. Yeah, she's cruising out, man. Why is it rattly? I don't know. Oh yeah?
Almost 40.
Oh, Robbie's taking us over the waves. Goodness gracious! Don't let off the gas in the middle of the wave. No, you don't ditch it in the middle of the wave. Oh God! Why are you going this way? Why are you going this way?
Really felt like
God, have you ever captained a boat before? Jeez! Oh, goodness gracious! All right,
I forgot about those big waves we were rolling.
Well, I was just surprised that you went at him the way you did. I can't see anything.
Not my boat anymore.
Yeah, what a jerk. All right, everybody. The boat is fixed, kind of. If you'll remember, I can't even see the camera. If you remember, there's a big hole in the center of the hull there, right next to the plug area that had the, the stopper. There was a pump there. I guess the pump check valve broke, so we were basically flooding the whole boat in water like we had a hole in the back of it. So we got that temporarily plugged with those wine stoppers. I'll have to just plug that somehow with foam or something, and I think we're good. So as of right now, the boat is fixed. So all it took was weeks of hard labor and 100-hour weeks of just hard labor, but
Just to plug a hole. Like a 3/4 diameter hole.
because
I told him in the beginning.
right, now, you didn't tell me that the transom was shot. Hang on, let's zoom in. There we go, that rotten wood that's broken off right there, we won't talk about that. The mushy bar, oh, I took the mushrooms out of the boat. So, yeah, I think everything is good. Oh yeah, this is Lake St. Clair, everybody. Not too far over there is Canada. This is what I used to get the Flame Job stickers off. 3M 38987 specialty adhesive remover. It doesn't last very long, so you can only do it in like short little pieces at a time, but it worked really good and it didn't attack the paint of the boat. Now, I also tried this aircraft decal and adhesive remover. This did attack the paint, so I'm just going to return this. This one's kind of like a gel. Sprays it on. You're supposed to wait like a certain amount of time, but after just a couple of seconds, I could see where it was just making the paint dull and whatever. So this wasn't like that, but it evaporates really fast like acetone, but it's really good. And they're both about the same price. I think this was actually a little bit more than the 3M, which is shocking because 3M is usually pretty expensive stuff. This is your standard like drain that every boat has, and then this is the pump. So there's a check valve of some type in there that doesn't allow water in, but would allow the pump to, you know, pump water out, and that's failed. So I have to block this off somehow. It's just PVC, so I'm gonna maybe try a PVC plug, glue it in place, something like that, but we'll just have to figure it out. But that's where we put that wine stopper, and it worked great. Now I did notice that the boat was pulling to the left, or the steering wheel was pulling to the left, and it kind of was like leaning to the left a little bit while we were driving it. And I'm pretty sure all I got to do is adjust this trim tab. So the way that these things work is this is the trim for the, you know, side to side on the engine itself, on the outdrive. There's a cap here. Pop this out, you put a big Allen key down in there and loosen it up, and then you can turn this thing one way or the other. Sorry about the wind. But since it was pulling to the left, we want to turn this to the left, and that will cause the more resistance on this side, and as the water's coming across, it'll hit it and force the outdrive over that way, and it should true it up so it tracks right, and then it should just, you know, drive straight. But other than that, I think it came out pretty awesome. I lost a little bit of paint while I was removing the stickers, but overall I think it came out pretty good. There's still a slight shadow of the flame stickers on it, but it's pretty good, I don't think it's too bad. It's pretty good. And then over here, same deal. I think a quick buff job and it'll be fine. Overall, I think the boat looks pretty awesome. It came out really good. It drives nice. It just sips gas, gets out of the hole pretty quick. You can go ride this thing around all weekend long on a tank of gas, so it's pretty reasonable and it's comfortable and it's the right size, 19 foot. So everything fits in nice, even when this is folded up. Just fits right back here and tucks in, so it's not sitting on the cushion. You know, it's all right. But anyway, that's it for the video. We got a cool boat. It took an astronomical amount of work because Rob sold me a crap boat that he swore up and down was an amazing deal. It turned out not to be.
Sweet.
Then he took off on vacation and left me alone to do it all by myself.
It's to keep them stronger.
To make me stronger and build character.
Yeah,
So
character.
anyway, I appreciate you guys watching. Hopefully you like the boat videos. Unfortunately, this is going to be pretty close to the end of the season here in Michigan. It's going to turn down to like 65 degrees, I think just tomorrow. So today is like 79, and it's like the last nice day period that we'll have. So we'll be basically off the water for the most part. No more swimming. But who knows, might get a couple of nice days. So that's basically it. Thanks a lot for watching. Hopefully you didn't mind the boat videos. Catch you on the next one.